Hello, I'm back. Welcome to another edition of Karen Teune script reading. Only a few left, so we're gonna have some fun. This one is a pilot script that I wrote for myself. It is called Little New York Family, and for the sake of tradition, I'm going to read the entire thing, because I did with the last one. So if you get bored, just leave it on and let my soothing voice lull you to sleep at night. Okay, we're gonna have some fun. Here we go. Little New York Family. Interior New York City apartment, hallway morning. Jane French, 30s, beautiful, little neurotic, peeks her head out of a bedroom. She looks both ways before she tiptoes down the hall and into the kitchen. Interior New York City apartment, kitchen, morning. Jane makes coffee and turns on the radio. She dances as she starts to empty the dishwasher. Kitty Morgan, 30s, bubbly and sweet, rushes in to grab her coat and purse. Kitty. Good morning, my darling Jane. Good morning, Kitty. Coffee? I'm late. I've got to open the cafe. What happened to the new girl? She quit again. I'm such a sucker. Jane turns around and hands Kitty a cup of coffee. You're not a sucker, you're just too nice. In other words, a big, fat sucker. Jane shrugs and smiles at Kitty. Is that Ike's t-shirt? Jane pulls up the shirt awkwardly. No, I mean, yes, he threw it in the Goodwill pile last week, and I thought it looked like the perfect company pajama shirt. Kitty sips the coffee. I rifled through that pile too, adopted 2 of your old skirts. Ike Anderson, 30s, laid back and artistic, walks in playing the air guitar along with the song that's on the radio. Ike. Good morning, ladies. Kitty. Hi, bye. Kitty runs out the door. Ike and Jane look at each other. Ike. Did you tell her? I will. I'm waiting for the right moment. She'll be fine with it. No, scratch that. She'll be happy for us. We're all grown adults here, babe. Jane and Ike kiss. Ike grabs her and puts her on the countertop. Exterior studio space rental building day. Jane walks up a busy New York street and into the building. Interior studio space rental building lobby day. Jane writes her name on the sign-in sheet at the front desk and smiles at the security guard. Interior studio space rental building hallway. Jane pulls a large bin out of a storage closet and drags it into a small room. Interior studio space rental building room day. Jane sets up a folding table, chairs, 2 microphones, and a camera. She straightens herself up when she hears a knock at the door. Lou Lerner, 60s, scholarly and kind, shakes Jane's hand. Jane. Professor Lerner, you're right on time. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on my podcast. Lou. The pleasure is mine, Miss French. I really enjoyed listening to all the guests you've had on this past year. Impressive that you started all this from scratch. Still a lot of growing to do. Jane motions to the folding chairs. Please have a seat. We will dive right in. Jane turns on the camera and the microphones. Jane and Lou put on the headphones. Jane. Into the microphone. Hello, everyone. This is the Jane French podcast. My guest today is Professor Lou Lerner. He is the chair of the psychology department at Tulane University and author of the new book, The Dance of Courage. Professor, it's an honor. Lou, thank you for having me on, Jane. One of the many things I got from your book is that you can trick the brain into thinking you're a lot farther along towards achieving a goal than you really are, and that perspective can create the needed confidence and clarity to push through the pain, so to speak. Lou, yes, that's great, that's great. What I wanted to convey to the reader was, when I was writing this book, is that our brains have the capacity to completely change the way we experience emotion, especially the heavy hitters like pain, pleasure, fear, and courage. Interior studio space, rental building, hallway day. Jane pushes the large bin back into the storage closet. Interior studio space, rental building, room day. Jane organizes a pile of papers and books. There's a knock at the door. Ike walks in. I brought you a treat, my treat. Ike pulls a cake pop out of a paper bag. Baby, you know just what I like. I hope so. Jane, you know what else I like? Jane grabs him and leans back on the folding table. Not here, we're going to break this table. Jane, here's hoping. Jane kisses Ike's neck and tries to take off his shirt. Let's do this at home. We've got a nice clean bed at our apartment. Jane. But Kitty will be home. I want you now. Ike. Jane, stop. Ike gets up and fixes his shirt. All right, fine. Jane puts the papers and books in her bag and they leave. Exterior Union Square Park day. Jane and Ike walk through the park. Ike, how'd the interview go? Fine. Ike gives her a look. Jane sticks her tongue out at him. Ike, look, I don't want to sneak around the apartment anymore, and I don't want to act like horny teenagers hooking up in random spots around the city. You're right, we should just break up. We've had our fun, but this had to end sometime. That's not what I'm saying. They stop and look at each other. Ike, I think we should get our own place. Jane, you do? Well, what about Kitty and Spencer? They can get other roommates to replace us or do their own thing. Spencer's out of town most of the time anyway. Jane, this is sad. I thought you'd be excited about the idea. This is for us, babe. Jane smiles and kisses him. Interior New York City apartment building hallway night. Jane lets go of Ike's hand as he unlocks the apartment door. Ike, see, I hate that. I want to walk into our apartment not being afraid to hold my girlfriend's hand. I know. Interior New York City apartment kitchen night. All the lights are off in the apartment. Jane, that's weird. I thought she'd be home. Ike flips the lights on. Kitty and Spencer Voss, 30s, a bit nerdy and businessy, jump up from behind the kitchen counter. Surprise! Jane and Ike are genuinely surprised. Kitty pops a champagne bottle. Jane, wow, this is so fun! Ike gives Spencer a hug. Ike, welcome home, man. Spencer, thanks. Jane, Spencer, I thought you were in London for like another month. Spencer, I missed you guys. Kitty smiled at Spencer. And there was a break in my schedule, so I thought, why not? Kitty pours the champagne and hands everyone a glass. What are we celebrating? Kitty, us. We're celebrating us. Everyone puts their glass in the middle. To our little New York family. Our little New York family. Cheers. You know what this means. Game night! Ike and Spencer laugh at the girls, but they're just as excited. Interior New York City apartment. Living room night. The four friends are deep into an intense game of charades. Boys versus girls. They are also deep into 3 bottles of champagne, 2 bottles of wine, a 5th of vodka, and various mixers. Jane, we got this, girl. You and me. Kitty gets up and stands in front of the couch. She pulls out a piece of paper out of her hat on the coffee table. Jane, for the win. Like, choke, choke, choke. Jane elbows Ike. Kitty takes a deep breath. Spencer starts the timer. And go. Kitty pretends to hold a baseball bat in her hands. Take me out to the ball game. Kitty grabs another paper. She pretends to put a large bowl on her head. Eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. Kitty pretends to spread something on her hand and eat it. George Washington Carver. Kitty makes a bird with her hands and then covers it with her arm. Jane. A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Kitty snaps her finger above her head and slides her hands along her hips. How Stella got her groove back. Kitty pretends to blow out a candle and then takes a fork to eat a piece of it. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Ding, 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 ding. That's time. Woohoo! Jane jumps up from the couch. She hugs Kitty and they jump up and down. Ike and Spencer laugh at them. Spencer turns up the volume on the speakers. The 4 friends have a dance party. Exterior Kitty's Cafe day. Jane, wearing big sunglasses, slowly walks up the cobblestone street. She almost trips as she turns into the cafe. Interior Kitty's Cafe day. Jane nods to Kitty behind the counter, icing a pink cake. Jane slumps down at a little marble table as Kitty brings her a cup of coffee. Jane. I am in so much pain right now. How are you functioning? Kitty. 3 Advil, 2 Red Bulls, half a dozen wheatgrass shots, and a Vicodin. Jane. Let me rephrase that. How are you not flying off the walls right now? Kitty rubs Jane's shoulders as she puts her face in her hands. Jane. Oh, I'm gonna die. Tell my mother I love her. I'll send over a cinnamon roll. Jane. The next guest for my podcast is meeting me here. I've got 10 minutes to get my shit together. Jane drinks her coffee. He actually happens to be a handsome bachelor. Want me to introduce you? Kitty shrugs her shoulders. Nah, I'm good. Since when do you not want to meet a hot single guy? I'm just focused on other things. My signature bakery items just went viral. I'm shipping that pink cake to Austin. How cool is that? Very, very cool. I'm so proud of you. You know that. Kitty. Since when do you not want to keep a handsome bachelor all to yourself? Jane. Yeah, same reason. Focused on the show. I'm going to start looking for a better studio space, take it up to the next level, kick everything up a notch. Kitty. Well, you're looking at the #1 fan of the Jane French podcast, obviously. Jane sees a hot guy entering the cafe. Crap, he's early. You sure you don't want to Vicodin? Jane shakes her head. Kitty checks out the hot guy, Drew Prescott, 30s, and walks away. Jane. Mr. Prescott, hello there. Thank you for meeting me. Please, it's Drew. Do you want some coffee? That'd be great, thanks. Jane motions to Kitty, who raises her eyebrows and mouths the words. Kitty fans her face melodramatically. Jane tries not to laugh. Drew. I love this place. They have the best cinnamon rolls. Well, you're in luck. Kitty walks back to the table with a cup of coffee and a giant cinnamon roll. She lays down 2 forks. Jane. Drew, this is Kitty Morgan, my best friend and owner of this amazing cafe. Hi, welcome. Drew to Kitty. Drew Prescott. Awesome to finally meet you, Kitty. I've been coming here for years. I have a confession. I've been wanting to introduce myself to you, but I get super shy around beautiful women. Kitty, laughing awkwardly. Oh, enjoy. Kitty quickly turns and walks away. Drew's taken aback. Jane, she's always slammed. It's hard for her to stand in one place and talk. Jane takes a bite of the cinnamon roll. So, tell me about the process behind your documentary. I really want to get in depth on my podcast. I think the work you're doing is super important. Interior Music Studios lobby day. Jane walks up to the girl at the front desk. She's carrying a big takeout bag. Jane. Hi, Lauren. Is he in a session? You can go right on it? Thanks. Interior Music Studio day. Ike motions for Jane to enter the studio. A big, curly-haired man, Bryce Sackett, 40s, spins around in his chair. Bryce. My sweet maiden Jane, here to save the day as usual. Jane. Hey, Bryce. Going that well, huh? Bryce. Our brains are fried and we're about to kill this client and each other, but if there's a couple of chili dogs in that bag, I might reconsider. Jane puts the paper bag on the table and sits on Ike's lap. Ike to Jane. Hey. Ike kisses her. You're amazing. Thank you. Bryce. I'm going to visit the little boy's room. Bryce leaves. Jane. I came here to tell you that you were right about everything. Oh yeah? Well, I like the sound of that. Keep going. We're all grown adults. It's time to act like it. Let's get our own place. No more parties, no more drinking, no more staying up late. Hell, let's just move to the suburbs, get married, have a couple kids. I am ready. Whoa there, partners. Slow your roll. Oh, I didn't mean all that. I just was hungover all day and I'm trying to come up with a game plan so I never feel that shitty again. Worth a shot. That sounded a lot worse out loud than in my head. Bryce struts back into the room. What did I miss? Jane gets up. Well, I'm off. You guys enjoy your lunch. Stay, eat with us. I have got an appointment to look at a permanent studio space for my show. That is awesome, babe. Farewell, my sweet. Bryce stuffs a chili dog in his mouth. Interior podcast studio day. Vanessa Chen, 50s, paces the empty room with a clipboard. Jane stands in the middle of the room. Vanessa. I'm renting this as is. I only do 2-year leases. Looks perfect. Is it soundproof? 100%. Do you have a table and chairs on site? No. Okay, thanks. I'll think about it and get back to you. This is my last room. It'll be gone by the end of the week. Exterior New York City apartment building night. Jane skips up the steps of a pretty brownstone. Interior New York City apartment kitchen night. Jane enters the apartment to find Kitty sitting on the counter crying into a gallon of ice cream. Kid, are you okay? Kitty looks up at Jane. What's the matter? Kitty takes a deep breath. Let me guess. You're just crashing after your cocktail of drugs this morning. No. I'm pregnant. No, you're not. Kitty nods and eats a spoonful of ice cream. You just found out today? I finally went to the clinic. I've been in complete denial. The baby's almost 3 months and healthy. Thank goodness. I've been living like a wild person. Who's the guy? Spencer. We've been secretly dating since Christmas. We really love each other, but I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want anything to change. Jane watches her. Joke's on me, and now everything's gonna change. I always wanted kids. I just thought someday, but I guess this is it, Jane. This is someday. Have you told him yet? No, he flew back to London this morning. He needs to sleep. He's stressed about a meeting he has with his boss later. Well, if you're gonna get knocked up, Spencer is the guy to do it with. He's a keeper. Yeah, I know. He's amazing. But I can't run my business and raise a child with him out of the country 9 months of the year. I'm gonna have to move back to Ohio to live with my parents. Kitty starts sobbing at the thought of it. Jane gives her a hug. I'm sure we can think of a better solution than that, my dear. Exterior Madison Square Park day. Jane rushes by the park, frustrated and struggling with a few heavy bags filled with studio electronics. Drew walks by her and stops. Jane French. Oh, hi, Drew. You need a hand? You're not supposed to see me like this. I'm a professional and very confident and calm and put together at all times. I believe you. Drew grabs the bag that's about to fall out of Jane's arms. Whoops. Ugh, thanks. I'll walk with you. I was killing time before our interview anyway. Jane, I just got a permanent studio space. There's still a bunch of stuff to set up. I'm your man. My life's passion is do-it-yourself projects. Ike takes another bag and they walk together. Yeah, well, it's either passion or insanity that's kept me going this long. I hear you. At one point, I was living in a tent so I could use every cent I had to keep shooting the documentary. Jane. Yeah, well, my show has pretty much been me attempting to build a castle over the past 5 years, just brick by brick by brick. I think I've got the bridge over the moat and a pretty solid front door by now. That might be about it. Well, it's a great place to be. Interior podcast studio day. Jane pushes open the door to the studio. Ike is stretched out on the table with a rose in his teeth. He is naked. Hello, hot stuff. I'm ready to make sweet love to you on this table, just like you wanted. Hi, babe. Drew walks in right behind Jane. Oh, sorry, man. Ike scrambles to get up and put his clothes on. What the shit? Jane, it's okay, babe. This is Drew, my interview guest. Ike grabs his bag and walks out the door. Jane, wait, babe, don't leave. Jane follows him out the hallway. Ike, stop! Ike runs down the stairs. Exterior Hudson Riverwalk day. Jane and Kitty walk along the river drinking green juice. I'm going to be super healthy. No more alcohol, obviously. No more coffee. Oh my goodness. No more coffee. I think you can have decaf. I think. Well, that sounds right. Did you tell him yet? Yep. Perfect timing. He was walking to work. He dropped the phone. Then a bike ran over it. He called me back a couple hours later. He was in shock, but super excited. So you didn't pick the best moment. The time difference is really confusing. I really, really, really don't want you to move back to Ohio, Kitty. I know, but what are my other options? It's not like I can afford a nanny in New York City. Jane, I want us to all keep living together as our little New York family. I think I both have flexible schedules. We can babysit when you're working. Ha! Right. Yeah, I will love that idea. Having a crying baby in the next room. Jane pulls out her cell phone and taps it a few times. So, want to hear some news? Of course. I just gained 1,000 new subscribers since my last interview with Drew Prescott yesterday. Turns out my new studio is lucky, Kitty. No, it's because you worked hard and your guests are at a higher caliber now and people are finally starting to notice. You're right. Man, it feels good. Look at us, just two gals in the big city, living our best lives and making things happen. Jane, living the dream. Hey Jane, go get pregnant real fast? We always said we'd raise our kids together. Haha, very funny. We should stop by that comedy club on the way home. That one was a real side splitter. Interior Music Studios, lobby night. The lobby is decked out for a birthday party. Cocktail waitresses roam the crowded room. Jane and Ike are all dressed up. Jane, whose birthday is it again? Ike, Ollie Jones. He's the president of the New York branch. Great guy. And he'll be an even greater guy when he gives me that raise I deserve from winning the jingle competition last month. A cocktail waitress walks past them with a tray of colorful drinks. Blueberry mojito? Ooh, thank you so much. Ike, so the no more drinking rule didn't last that long, huh? Jane makes a face and they each take a drink from the tray. Jane, baby, you were so hot laying naked in my studio. I'm sorry. That was humiliating. Let's never mention it again. Okay, I'll mention that you are looking so hot in that suit tonight. Aw, thank you, babe. What a nice thing to say. From my secret girlfriend I'm in a secret relationship with. You're not in a secret relationship. Yeah, you're right. It's not a secret. You just won't tell your best friend about it, that's all. We're gonna tell Kitty and Spencer together as a team because that's what we are. A team. Ike grabs her playfully. A team of lovers. Jane laughs and kisses him. There's another secret you're keeping. What do you mean? You were acting weird the other night. I can tell there's something. Jane looks at him. She takes a long swig of her drink and blurts it out. Kitty's pregnant. Who? Spencer. Whoa. Yep. Everything's gonna change. Yep. I didn't actually want anything to change. Everything's awesome the way it is. I know. Ike is completely lost in thought. Bryce, wearing a bright ruffly suit, walks up to them. Jane, you, me, karaoke. I can't sing, Bryce. That's the whole point of karaoke. You're not supposed to be able to sing. Bryce pulls Jane's arm and Jane pulls Ike's arm. Jane, I'm taking you down with me, teammate. Jane and Ike join Bryce on the karaoke stage as a funny and energetic song starts playing. They are terrible singers and everyone at the party cheers them on and gets into it. Bryce steals the show, acting like a crazy rock star. Exterior New York sidewalk night. Jane and Ike walk arm in arm, singing the karaoke song together. Jane, I just had the best idea. We can go back to my permanent new nice studio and do it on the table. What? Well, now that I have my own nice studio space, we can go there whenever we want and get crazy. I'm good, babe. Let's go home. Yeah, I'm good too. Let's tell Kitty tonight that we're together and that we're going to get our own place. Ike holds Jane tighter as they stroll up the sidewalk. Interior New York City apartment kitchen night. Jane and Ike walk into the apartment to find Kitty and Spencer cooking up a storm. Spencer, welcome home. Jane, Spencer, you're back already? I just couldn't stay away. Jane and Kitty exchange knowing smiles. Kitty, perfect timing, you guys. Let's eat. Kitty and Spencer put platters of food on the kitchen table. Ike, dinner at 10. Very European of us. Spencer, hope you're hungry. Jane, this looks amazing. The four friends sit down at the table together. They all ding their glasses and talk at the same time. Everyone laughs. Kitty, Jane, you go first. Jane looks around the table at her friends, her best friends. This is so amazing. I love you guys so much, and I really love the home we've created together over the past 10 years. But Ike and I decided that we are officially a couple and we want to keep living together with you guys as a family. Jane looks at Ike, surprised. He kisses her. I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! It's so obvious you two are in love. Why didn't you say anything, Kitty? I knew you'd tell me when you were ready. Just like me and Spencer. Spencer. My company is relocating me back to New York most of the time so I can be here with Kitty and our baby. Jane. We're having a baby! Everyone laughs and holds up their glass. Jane. To us. The four friends cheer. They talk and laugh together as they pass the food around and eat. The end.